Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to take word form and change it into standard form. So a word form, for example, would look like something like this: 1 2/10. And we're going to look at this, how to put it in standard form, which is just using the digits to create the number. So the first thing we look at is the 1 and. We know the and is the decimal, and we know obviously the 1 before it is the whole. So we're going to find the digit 1. Then the last part says 2/10. This last word tells you where the decimal ends. So it's going to end right here, and if there's 2 of them, we're going to put the 2 right in there. This is 1 2/10. Now let's try another one. So if I have, this says 1 2/100 this time. So for 1 2/100, once again, I have a decimal, just like normal. I did start with 1 and. Now this is 2/100. The last place I'm going to start or end in with my digit is there, the hundredths. And it says there's 2 in it. So I'm going to put this 2 in here. Now that I've finished that part, I have this gap. And anytime you have a gap in your number, what goes in it? Yes, of course, a 0. So this is a placeholder, and we would look to put it back in there. So this is 1 2/100. Good. Now I'm going to change this up just a wee bit. So this one, it says 0 12/100. So of course I have 0 wholes. So I'd start here, 0 and then it says 12/100. The last place we're going to end in is the hundredths, and I have to be able to put 12 in here. If I slide that in, it works out just perfectly. And that is 0 12/100. Now let's try one. This one is 1 81/100. So of course we're going to start off with 1 and it says 81/100. The place that we're going to end at is, of course, hundredths. So I need to fit 81 and have it end right there. So again, it works out just right into the hundredths. So this is 1 81/100. All right, how about this one? We have 7 50/100. So of course you're going to have 7 as your whole and 50/100. So I need a 5 and a 0 for 50, and I need it to stop in my hundredths column, which it works out 50. Okay? If I keep going, I have 7 50,000ths this time. So I already have 7 and, but the 50 needs to be ending in the thousandths place. So if I need to slide it over like so, I would do that, and that would be 50,000ths. However, now I have a space or a gap. And again, what do I need to do to add into that gap? A 0. I'm going to put a 0 to hold that space right there. This is 7 50,000ths. The last number I have, or practice problem, is 4 5,000ths. So obviously we're going to start with a 4 ones, but it would be 4 and then we have 5,000ths. So we actually need to take the digit 5, and we end with thousands, so it needs to go in the thousandth column or place. So now I have 2 spaces. In those spaces, of course, what do you put? Zeros, that's correct. Zeros are your placeholder. So this is how the number should look: 4 5,000ths. I hope this helps you read and write correctly in standard notation a decimal.